Good afternoon. It is about 5 to 1 on Sunday. It is a gorgeous 26 degrees Celsius right now. It is very, very nice. I think yesterday it was like, it had to have been damn near 30. It was hot. So anybody watching, how you doing? How's your weekend going? I hope the weather is good for you also. I'm gonna turn my air down a little bit. So I'm just on my way home from my boyfriend's. I went over Friday after work. We had a lovely time. We had a mishap. I brought my laptop with me with my cord. I don't know what it's called, but you hook it to the TV and then you hook it to your computer and then you can watch movies from your laptop on your computer. And I remembered that cord, but I forgot my laptop charger. And my laptop was dead when I got to my boyfriend's. So pissed. So that's fine. Friday we were tired anyway, so we just sort of did our own things. He played a game on his phone or on the Xbox or whatever, and I don't know, I played cards and I mucked around on Twitter for a little bit, and there was a little bit of drama with his son. And it's so frustrating because he really is a sweet kid, but he just does the dumbest friggin' stuff, like the dumbest shit. So, like, dangerous too. Like, I don't know, he gone out, whatever, like he kind of comes and goes, right? That would drive me insane. And he never says where he's going or who he's going to be with or an approximate time when he'll be back, like never. That would not fly in my house. That does not fly with Boo Boo. Boo Boo's 22 years old. He pays rent and he works full time. Trust and believe, because he lives under my goddamn roof, I know where that kid is at all times, who he is with, and approximately what time he will be home. I don't text and bother him. If he's running late and I don't hear from him and I'm getting worried, I'll text him, "You good? Do I need to come find you? Release the Kraken?" But it's fine, whatever. Like, he's 22, whatever. Just let me know what's going on is all I ask. When you live on your own, do you? I don't need to know what you're doing. I don't care. Under my roof, I need to know what's going on. Just saying. So, yeah, that shit would not fly at my house at all. No. But it is what it is. Not my circus, not my monkey, but I think he left the house somewhere between like 7:30 and 8 o'clock, right? And to my understanding, the deal is the boy is supposed to be home between 9 and 10, which I think is very fair. One, considering he's 15, and two, considering the mass amount of fuckery that he's been in. If he were my kid, he would not be allowed to leave the house at all. The trust would be gone, but whatever. Again, not my circus, not my monkey. So he went out, whatever. But before he went out, he had come home and like put French fries in the oven, had something to eat, and then left. Okay, I don't recall him saying a word. I don't recall him saying, peace out, I'm leaving, go fuck your hat, like nothing, right? Just gone. So whatever. I got up. What was I doing in the kitchen? I was doing something. And all of a sudden, my boyfriend and I are both kind of like, I smell smoke. So I turned around and looked at the stove because I knew he was also frying burgers in frying pans. But the stovetop was off and there was a burger sitting in a pan, but like the stovetop was off. I'm like, I look down, I see smoke coming out of the oven. I'm like, the fuck? So my boyfriend comes over and he opens up the oven, and sure enough, he's still got those goddamn french fries in the fucking oven with the oven on. I'm like, seriously? Because had we not been home, the house would have burned down. It's kind of a duplex, right? It's a house that's been turned into 2 apartments. So the people up front have the actual house, and then the back is, it almost looks like they took the garage and made it into an apartment. I mean, it'll do, but yeah, it's small. It's like, really? It was just filled with smoke. Like, fuck's sakes. See, at that point, I would have tracked the little bastard down. I would have made a scene in front of his friends, and I would have brought him home. I would have dragged him by his hair into the car and dragged him home. Yeah. Like, my boyfriend has survived 1 house fire. I'm not sure he could survive 2. Like, just saying. Come on now. I'd be livid. So, whatever. We carry on. I think we went to bed somewhere around midnight, and this kid's still not home. Haven't heard. Been texting him. He's not texting back. I believe he said that because they have the same phone, so when you send a text, it says delivered and it tells you when it's been read. All his texts, I believe he said, had been read, but not replied to. This kid thinks we're stupid. I find that offensive. Not much offends me. That I find, if you're no, I'm sorry, you're 15. You know nothing. Get the fuck out of here. So we go to bed. And finally, my boyfriend had enough, and I'd kind of said, like, you have to do your part. Like, he's not concerned about the boy getting hurt or anything. It's like, okay, fine, because, I mean, he's a big kid. For 15, he's a big kid. He's probably about 6'2". He's huge, okay? I said, that's fine, but there's always somebody bigger and somebody crazier, and he's out acting a fool and running amok at fucking midnight. He's 15. He don't know shit. He has 0 street smarts. Like, the kid can't read a room, okay? So, you need to do your part as a parent. You need to phone the cops, because I'm pretty sure at 15, he's not supposed to be out wandering town at fucking midnight. So, he phones the police, and you know, they take down all the information, and the lady at the desk says, you know, they had a priority call, but somebody will get back to you shortly. That's fine. They got back pretty quick. So, again, he gives the information and says, you know, like, he's just out running amok. Like, you know, I mean, he's been in enough shit, and he's not getting it. He's supposed to be home by 10. Now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know. So the officer was like, I'll put a thing out over the radio with a description and whatever, and you know, we'll keep an eye out for him, and we see him out and about, we'll let him know he's to, you know, get his butt home, that, you know, your dad's worried, whatever. So they did that. They found him, and they called us back again, probably around 1:30, and told us he'd been around the store that he had held up about a month ago. Whatever. Like, you would think when they punch their information into the computer, if somebody has a record, that record comes up, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So when they seen him hanging around the place that he is not allowed to be around, you would think that they would nab him, but they didn't. Whatever. So he came home. We went to bed. They were like, yeah, he's on his way home. He fell asleep at his friend's house. That's what he told the cops. I'm on my way home, officer. I fell asleep at my buddy's house. Huh? So we went to bed. I heard him come home. And in the morning, I stayed in bed because I could hear them talking. When I woke up, I could hear them. I couldn't hear what was being said, but I could hear them talking. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here a minute. It's not my kid. I've had a couple of times, like when I walked in on Friday, they were having a conversation all about the whole wandering thing, right? And smoking and vaping and all that kind of shit, right? Smoking the pot, whatever. So I turned around and went outside and had a cigarette because he was saying the dumbest things to his dad. And I don't have a filter, especially when it comes to teenagers. Like, they just say the stupidest things, and I'm all over that. Like that, no. It's the mom in me, I guess. I don't know. I can see the fuckery and the disrespect, and I don't like it. Like, So I just turned around and went outside and had a cigarette. And later I was telling my boyfriend, I almost said, whatever I was going to say. And he's like, do it. It's like, you don't bite your tongue around me. Don't bite your tongue around him. I was like, well, but he's not my kid. We don't know each other. We don't have a friendship. Like, I'm just some bitch mouthing off to him as far as he's concerned. But whatever. So Saturday morning, I'm just laying there letting them have their talk. I'm like, I was really hoping my boyfriend would get mad, right? Because I know he's frustrated. But he just, nope. He's at the fuck it stage, I think. He's going to do what he's going to do. I'm done kind of deal. I'll go through the motions, but it's sad, really. I went through something similar with Boo Boo when he was younger. He was quite the handful. We got into like physical altercations. I had to lay down the law with that boy. I had to put the fear of God into that boy because Boo Boo's a big kid too. Boo Boo was probably about 6 foot, 6'1". He's a scrawny. That kid has absolutely zero body fat on him. He is the skinniest beanpole you'll ever see in your life. But he does have a temper, and when he loses it, I'm here to tell you that kid is friggin' strong. However, I also have a temper, and I'm pretty damn strong. So I used to have to get him down on the ground and like subdue him and be like, okay, like, are you done? Like the sass and the bowing up and getting in my face. Like, oh, he used to be so bad. I can remember grabbing him and putting him up against a wall when he was much younger. Like, and by much younger, it sounds horrible, but I mean like grade 3, grade 1 even. I would pick him up by the shoulders and put him up against the wall so that he was at my eye level. Because he would hit me. He would hit me hard. Like, I was covered in bruises for most of his childhood off him. And I remember when I finally I really lost my temper, and I picked him up by the shoulders and I put him up against the wall so that he was eye height with me. And I said to him, listen here, my friend. I said, any other man put their hands on me the way that you're putting your hands on me, he would be dead. This is done. The next time you hit me, I will hit you back. And of course, back then it was more like a slap on the cheek is what I meant. Never had to do it. That put an end to him actually hitting me. But when he got into like grade 6, 7, grade 6 and 7 was really bad. He would actually bow up on me, stick his chest out and get up in my face. And once he cocked his fist, and that was the end of that. I handled that. I won. We'll leave it at that. But I also had to call the boys home, and I had them on speaker so that he could hear our conversation and what that entailed and what he would be expected of him. And he did not like the sound of that. And I was like, okay, well, I said, I'm going to have him here, and he's been listening. We're going to have a conversation, and you may be hearing from me to come in and tour, right? At which case it would have been, I just would have left him there. Like, wash my hands, done. But that seemed to kick him in the ass, and I'm here to tell you, by grade 8, that boy turned his entire shit around. And he is a completely different kid. Unfortunately, my boyfriend's son has already been to a couple of boys' homes, and nothing's sinking in. So I feel bad for my boyfriend, but I got to the point this weekend where I just, well, number one, I didn't see him. He, you know, he was in and out, in and out, in and out. And I just stopped talking to him. I'm like, nope, nope. I'm sorry. I love my boyfriend with my entire heart, and I will not sit there and be sociable remotely with somebody who disrespects him like that. Especially his own kid. That's not happening. No. Not on my watch. So. Which is funny because, was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, I think, when I was there. Yeah, 2 weeks ago when I was there. He was so sweet. He was very pleased and thank you. We all sat in the living room together, and, you know, my boyfriend and I mucked around on our phones, and every now and again we'd comment on whatever game he was playing. Like, you know what I mean? We would converse, the three of us, and whatever, make jokes and make fun of each other, and, like, it was a good time. He was super sweet. This time around, he was like, yeah. He was out there smoking, and they'd had that conversation Friday when I got there. Like, you're going to do what you're going to do, but don't rub it in my face. Like, you fucking go for walks, and we're like, I don't want to see it, right? So when I went, he went outside, like, I don't know, not even an hour later, I'd say. And he went outside. I thought he went for his walk. His son, my boyfriend's son. I went out for a cigarette, and there's like the city has this great big stone planter on the sidewalks in that city, in that town, where they have the trees and the flowers and whatever. And it's like anyways, I went and sat out on there to have a cigarette because their front door goes right out onto the sidewalk. And I sat down and lit up a cigarette, and then I looked over toward the apartment, and there is this little bastard standing there having a smoke. Like, whatever, kid, like, and he's looking at me, right? You're not my kid, you're not my problem. Hope your dad don't come out. I mean, he would just say something passive aggressive anyway, right? I mean, they were doing that all weekend, just being really passive aggressive with each other, and I'm sitting there like, I don't work that way. I say it. I don't pussyfoot. I don't make it pretty. You're being a fucking douche. Knock it off. The disrespect, man. Like, Boo Boo likes to smoke his pot, okay? I told him when he started, you're 22, like, you're legal. Well, he was 19, I guess. Like, it's legal now. Your legal age, like, I don't particularly approve of it, but I'm not going to stop you. It's not like you're doing something illegal, right? I smoke cigarettes, which is probably worse for your health than smoking marijuana. So, I mean, whatever. Like, you know. I said, but I don't smoke my cigarettes in the house. So don't you be smoking your pot in the house. I cannot stand the smell of pot. It gives me a headache. It makes me want to vomit. It's horrible. But even more to the point, like I said, I don't smoke in the house. So if she who owns it don't, nor do you. I don't care that you pay rent. I'm the owner, you're the tenant. Like, my rules. And trust and believe that boy does not smoke his pot in the house. What does smell is his bong, and I have told him. I think I noticed it like on Thursday. I opened his door to come in and ask him something, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I thought he had been smoking in the house, and he was like, "No, it's my bong." I was like, "Okay, fair enough." You clean that fucking thing after every goddamn time you use it. Do not let it sit around all skunky and nasty. I can smell it. Like, no. My house, my rules. When I did smoke in the house, I would smoke 3 cigarettes tops, and that thing would get emptied and washed. Like, my house was Febrezed twice a day, every day, without fail. Like, non-smokers would come into my house and not know that I smoked until I lit up a cigarette, or they seen an ashtray. But my ashtrays did not sit around with shit in them. Like, they were clean always. Like, so just asking for a little respect, man. I don't think it's that deep. And he's asking for money all the time. And it's like, you know what? If he was a good kid and working on his shit and getting back in fucking school and doing something productive and showing the respect, I might be willing to give you, $10 here and there. He's asking for $20, $30, like, no. And on top of that, you're 15. Go get a fucking job, my guy. Especially since you're not working. Just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm a slave driver. Maybe I'm a horrible person. But yeah, I would not put up with that shit at all. Not even a little bit. I'm gonna jump out and have a cigarette. I think I'm going to sign off. I can't say, oh yeah, we're at the 20-minute mark. I'm just going to boot. I'm going to go out and have a smoke, carry on home, stop at the superstore, and going to make nachos tonight. I'm going to have to watch this video, I think, again when I get home before I make it public and figure out what to title this mess. It's going to be a rant. I think this feels like a rant. We'll see. We'll call it Teenagers Suck. I don't know. Anyways, anybody watching, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk later.